Hello and welcome to this presentation on wildfire safety in East San Jose. Currently, the risk of wildfires in East San Jose is very real. In 2020, the SCU Lightning Complex fires burned 400,000 acres, including parts of Santa Clara County. In general, no matter where you live in California, you should be mindful of the dangers that wildfires pose, and you should also be aware of the steps that you can take to protect yourself, your family, and your property from wildfires. Although this wildfire risk map here shows that the urban areas in East San Jose are at a low wildfire risk, as marked by the color green, there is actually a very real risk of this area catching on fire because of the embers that come from wildfires. Given certain weather conditions, namely wind blowing westward at the time of a wildfire raging on the east foothills, embers can be carried by the wind over the city's urban areas, landing on structures and causing them to ignite. This fact makes it clear that we need to prepare our properties for wildfires so that we can prevent any damages from occurring from either flames or embers. Embers are defined as the small and lightweight pieces of burning organic material from an ongoing fire. Embers have been known to travel several miles ahead of the main body of a wildfire given the right wind conditions. An example of this is the Creek Fire, where there were documented cases of homes 8 to 10 miles away from the main fire that burned down because embers landed upon them, causing them to catch fire. Because of this, any home that is adjacent to wildfire territory needs to implement what we call home hardening techniques.
Home hardening is a kind of home retrofitting that focuses on the use of fire-resistant materials when building a home. By using materials that have a greater resistance to fire, you can greatly reduce the chances of your home being damaged by fire. There are many aspects of a home that can be retrofitted in order for it to be considered hardened or home hardened. Some are listed in the slide, but there are many others aside from those. We have resources available with more details about what parts of a home can be home hardened and how. Defensible space is a strategy where we manage the exterior surroundings of a structure to reduce the odds of a home structure from catching on fire. There are three main zones that we refer to when talking about defensible space. The three zones are the ember-resistant zone, the lean, clean, and green zone, and finally the fuel-reduced zone. These zones are shown in the image on the slide, and it's most important to remember that in the ember-resistant zone, we should have no combustible materials as they can lead to the direct ignition of a home structure. For emergencies, there are many things we can do to be prepared ahead of time. First, register for local emergency alert systems for up-to-date information about local emergencies. In the case of a wildfire in your area, it's especially important to be receptive to local emergency alerts because fires can change direction at seemingly random times. Because of this, if an evacuation order is placed, we highly encourage everyone to follow all the instructions provided very carefully. Evacuation routes are created on a case-by-case scenario in order to avoid civilians from being exposed to wildfire events needlessly. Another important and easy way to prepare for an emergency in advance is by preparing go bags. Go bags should contain first aid materials as well as clothes, food, and water for about 3 days. You can choose to add other items in your bag as you see fit, and there are many resources online that can help you figure out exactly what you want to include in your bag. It is important to note that each member of a household should have their own bag, and everyone should know where their bag is. It's best to have them in accessible locations of your home. And thanks to these bags, should you receive an evacuation order, you can grab your bag and join the evacuation efforts in a matter of minutes. Wildfire smoke contains air particulates that originate from the burning of organic materials, such as plants. They are extremely harmful to human health when inhaled. Everyone should avoid their exposure to wildfire smoke, but people who belong to any of the following categories should be especially careful about their exposure. These include pregnant women, persons with heart conditions, lung disease, and/or diabetes, the elderly, as well as children and youth. For more information about the air quality in your area, you can check AQI or air quality indexes. Check these listed sites, among others, to get reliable and up-to-date information about your local air quality conditions.
One thing that all residents should be aware of, mainly so that there is public support for it, is that prescribed burns are the most effective way to prevent damaging wildfires. Prescribed burns, also known as controlled burns or cultural burns, are low-intensity burns historically performed by indigenous nations in California. These prescribed burns cleared underbrush, which in turn prevents catastrophic wildfires by reducing the fuel load. Prescribed burns also have many other benefits, such as stimulating the growth of plants and fruit. In general, California ecosystems are fire adapted, meaning they actually need fire in order to be healthy. Prescribed burns will be performed more regularly in the coming years by CAL FIRE and other agencies, so we encourage you to be supportive of these efforts. Thank you for watching this video on wildfire safety. We encourage you to take the necessary steps of home hardening and defensible space. Below, we will be linking our original presentation slides that have more information, as well as links to similar resources that further explain what measures you can take to reduce your home's risk of wildfire damage. If you have any questions, please email us at the email address listed here. We are happy to provide you with any information that you might like to have. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.